Imagine ruling an empire of 73 star systems, only to have your missing daughter suddenly return from deep space, holding the hand of a human man, with a little girl who looks up at you and asks with absolute innocence, "Are you my grandma?" In that moment, Queen Silthera, feared, revered, unshakable, feels her entire empire tilt. Because the child isn't just family, she's a hybrid with impossible abilities strong enough to bend the laws of physics, rewrite royal history, and threaten to tear the Etheran Empire in half. And this is where the trouble truly begins. If stories like this pull you in, a mix of sci-fi, mystery, and family drama on a galactic scale, make sure to hit like. It helps more people find these videos. And if you're new here, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next HFY adventure. Feel free to share this one too. Someone out there needs a good interstellar story today. The palace of Luminara Prime had seen supernovas reflected across its crystal towers, had survived political storms fierce enough to fracture lesser civilizations, and had watched 3 centuries pass beneath the reign of Queen Silthera. Yet nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared her for the moment the universe whispered back a name she had not spoken aloud in 5 long, silent years. It began with a tremor in the quantum crystal arrays, a sound too soft for normal ears, a shimmer too subtle for ordinary vision, but unmistakable to a queen whose instincts had been sharpened by ruling an empire bigger than human imagination. Silthera stood at the observation window, pretending she wasn't counting the days her daughter had been missing. 5 years, 3 months, 17 days, when the throne room lights flickered. "Unknown transmission incoming," the royal AI announced. Her chief advisor, Chancellor Vex, stiffened. "Your Radiance, the encryption signature is..." He didn't finish because the room already knew. The air shifted. Gravity felt momentarily unsure of itself. Starflower, 7. Her daughter's code. A code that should have been lost forever. Silthera's voice dropped to a whisper only ancient rulers could manage. "Patch it through." The hologram snapped into clarity, and for a breathless moment, the queen forgot she was the most powerful being across 73 star systems. She forgot etiquette, posture, and centuries of discipline. Because the face on the screen, tired, older, but unmistakably hers, said softly, "Hello, Mother. I need to come home." Silthera had prepared speeches for this moment. Apologies she should give. Fury she intended to unleash. A list of questions long enough to stretch across the Nebulum Belt. But none of that mattered because her daughter added, "And I'm bringing people with me." It's complicated. Those last 2 words turn out to be an understatement on a cosmic scale. The docking bay thrummed with ceremonial tension. Silthera stood tall, robes shimmering in colors that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Vex adjusted his sash for the 15th time, muttering calculations about guard ratios, possible diplomatic catastrophes, and the statistical likelihood of fainting courtiers. The ship descended through the shield, battered, scorched, old. Not the kind of vessel a princess should travel in. Not the kind that survived 5 years of wandering safely. When the ramp lowered, the audience leaned forward as one. Princess Calith appeared first. Silthera's hearts nearly stopped. Her daughter looked whole, alive, and holding hands with a human man. That alone would have sent ripples through the empire. But then a small shape peeked out from behind them. A child who walked with the confidence only the very young possess. Long Etheran ears, big brown human eyes, a little face that mirrored the princess's high cheekbones, but carried the innocent roundness of human features. Silthera forgot how to breathe. The child spotted the massive reception group and waved cheerfully. "Wow, are all these people here for us? Do you think they have snacks?" A chorus of courtly gasps followed. Calith stepped down, voice formal but trembling at the edges. "Mother, this is my husband, David Reeves. And this," she squeezed the child's hand, "is Arya, your granddaughter." Silthera felt hundreds of eyes shift between her and the girl, waiting to see how the queen, the Iron Sovereign of the Etheran Empire, would respond. David bowed awkwardly but earnestly. "Your Radiance. Your Majestiness." Sorry, I rehearsed the titles, but there were a lot of them. A few courtiers choked. Caliph mouthed stopped talking behind him. Arya, oblivious, bounced closer. Are you really a queen? Do you have a crown? Mom said queens have crowns, but sometimes they hide them. Is yours shiny? Silthera stared at the child. The hybrid features were startling. Magnificent. Wrong in ways tradition claimed, and right in ways biology whispered. But the girl's energy, it pulled at something deep within her. Silthera cleared her throat, suddenly unsure how to speak. Yes, I do have a crown. It has powers, right? Arya beamed. All stories say so. The queen, slayer of rebellions, keeper of the Etheran lineage, guardian of the star courts, felt her chest warm in a way she had not felt in years. She knelt. Courtiers audibly fainted. Little one, Silthera whispered, you may see the crown later, if you'd like. Arya's eyes widened. Really? Grandma, that's so cool. Grandma, a word that cracked every layer of armor Silthera had built around her grief. With a trembling breath, she reached out, but before she could touch Arya's cheek, the entire bay trembled. Not from engines, not from alarms, from gravity. The floor tilted 1 degree to the left, then corrected. Arya blinked and looked down at her feet. Oops. The room hiccuped. Silthera's gaze snapped to the child. Etheran gravity sense was one of the rarest royal gifts, and it usually manifested around adolescence. No one mastered it for. Vex whispered, horrified and impressed. Your radiance, she just manipulated tertiary graviton flow accidentally. David lifted Arya into his arms. Sweetie, remember what we talked about? No experimenting on the palace floor. I wasn't experimenting, Arya said. It hummed wrong. I just nudged it. Silthera heard the word nudged and nearly lost composure. Gravity was not nudged. Not by anyone alive. Kayla stepped forward quickly, sensing the political storm building. Mother, before the council reacts, please know, Arya is healthy, strong, and she needs guidance, not judgment. Silthera studied her daughter, studied the human man, studied the impossible child who looked at the world like it was a puzzle eager to be solved. Come, the queen said softly. We will speak in private. But the whispers behind her had already begun. Half-breed, human contamination, succession threat, miracle, weapon, danger. And Silthera knew this return would not simply shake the empire. It would fracture it, unless she acted first. She extended her hand to Arya again, and when the child took it without hesitation, the queen felt something shift inside her, a certainty clear as starlight. This little hybrid granddaughter would change the fate of the Etheran Empire forever, and Silthera would protect her against tradition, against politics, against anyone who dared threaten what remained of her family, no matter the cost. The Etheran Council Chamber had been designed to intimidate. Its crystalline towers rose like frozen lightning, humming with ancient energy. Most visitors felt small inside it. Today, the room felt too small to contain the tension swelling inside. Queen Silthera sat upon her throne while the highest-ranking nobles argued, as if sheer volume could bend reality. But even as political chaos erupted, her gaze kept drifting to the smallest person in the chamber. Arya, her half-human granddaughter, swinging her feet while studying the quantum lights above as though admiring a star map only she understood. 5 years of fear, silence, and grief had led to this. A room full of panicked nobles trying to decide the fate of a child who didn't even know she'd become the Empire's newest controversy. Lord Arcturus, ringleader of the traditionalists, slammed his staff onto the crystal floor. This union violates every law we hold sacred. A human man? A hybrid child? This cannot stand. David straightened instinctively. Hey, I'm right here. Caliph squeezed his hand in warning. Lady Seraphine, always quick to mock hypocrisy, sighed. Arcturus, must you shout? The child is 4, not an invading army. Exactly the problem. Arcturus barked. She is unpredictable. Humans are unpredictable. Arya looked up. I'm not unpredictable. I just think fast. The noble stared, then recoiled as the room's gravity dipped again. Not violently, just a curious wobble, as if the palace itself had lost its footing. Silphira leaned forward. "Arya, did you do that?" The child hesitated. It hummed wrong again. "I only fixed it a little." The queen's hearts thudded. Etheran gravity sensitivity wasn't a parlor trick. It was a gift that appeared once every few generations, and Arya was treating it like adjusting a piano. "We are discussing imperial stability," Arcturus snapped. Not humming. But before he could continue, the chamber doors burst open. 36 armed royal guards marched in, not at Silphira's command. Arcturus's faction rose to their feet. The coup had begun. Coup attempts were rarely surprising. For centuries, Silphira had maintained peace by understanding exactly when, where, and how her enemies would strike. But seeing her own high nobles standing behind armored guards, that stung. "By ancient law of succession," Arcturus declared, "you have violated the purity of the royal bloodline. You must abdicate." Silphira rose slowly, every inch the ruler she had been for 3 centuries, every syllable sharpened by fury. "You presume to challenge me?" In my own chamber, the guards shifted nervously. Their faces were hidden, but their hesitation was obvious. They feared her. They feared Arya even more. David stepped forward, an engineer facing down soldiers because love did not recognize political caution. "You come after my daughter," he said quietly, "and we will have a problem." Caliph grabbed his arm, whispering for him to stop, but Arya tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, their armor glows. Is it fusion-powered? If I hummed at it, would it?" "Baby, maybe don't hum at soldiers." Arcturus pointed dramatically toward Arya. "Behold, already the hybrid child destabilizes our technology." Silphira nearly laughed. "Arcturus, our technology destabilizes if someone sneezes too hard." But before the queen could order her defenders, a new voice cut across the chaos. "Your radiance." Physician Lionel sprinted into the chamber, carrying a shimmering crystal sphere pulsing with ancient light. His robes fluttered like comet trails behind him. He bowed breathlessly. "I found something that changes everything." Arcturus groaned. "Not now, Lionel." But Lionel ignored him. He turned to Arya. "Little one, do you remember that big, glowing door you opened downstairs?" Arya nodded. The bathroom was hiding. Silphira blinked. She opened the archive of Origins. "Yes," Lionel said. "By accident." The room froze. The archive was sealed by ancient biotechnology, keyed only to pure Etheran DNA. No one had opened it in 10,000 years. Arya had wandered in by mistake. Lionel held up the sphere. "These are founding records, genetic logs, and they prove the Etherans were never pure to begin with." The chamber erupted. "What lies are these?" Arcturus snarled. Lionel tapped the sphere, and hollow projections filled the room with images from the past. 2 ancient species, Ether and Lumar, clasping hands beneath a swirling nebula. "The Etheran founders hybridized themselves," Lionel explained. "By design, our entire race is the product of mixing, adaptation, evolution." Silphira felt her breath catch. Her empire, built on the belief of purity, was founded on a partnership, a blending, a choice. Arya stared up at the glowing projections, eyes wide. "They look pretty." Arcturus stepped back, shaking. "This is fabricated. Impossible." Lionel held up a genetic comparison. Her DNA opened the vault because it recognized her as a direct descendant of the original hybrid line. Arya isn't contamination. She's continuity. Silphira looked at her granddaughter, small, curious, innocent, yet somehow carrying the weight of 10 millennia of forgotten truth, and something inside her reshaped itself completely. Her granddaughter wasn't breaking tradition. She was tradition. Arcturus, cornered by truth and stripped of excuses, made one last desperate move. "Guards, seize the queen." But the guards stepped aside.